Hi guys, I just wanted to do a quick little video for you because I know that there's a couple people getting a little bit confused about some of the processes, so I thought I'd do a little like tricks of the trade video here quickly for you in order to keep it on the video in a spacing way that you can still see it. We're going to use this board like it's one of our porch leaners. I guess it's much smaller, but we're going to just imagine it is, so we can talk about placement and all that sort of stuff so you guys can see how that works. Okay, so this is for our do-it-yourself kits, just so that you guys can see, because we want to make this as easy as possible for you because it really is quite simple. So let me show you guys in some of our kits. So for example, for our porch leaner signs, you'll have your nice long board, imagining that this is you know, a 5 foot or a 6 foot board here, and then you're going to have the sheets of stencil sort of cut so that they're going to go down like this. So what's confusing people is that you're going to get your piece of contact paper and you'll only get one of these rather than one for everyone. I'm going to show you guys why. We're just going to go by this quickly. So imagining for a second that this is the template goes on here. It's not, but we're gonna pretend it is for now. What you're gonna do is cut it so that it fits where it belongs. So typically on these you'll get it W and E or L for your welcome, and then it'll be in pieces. So what we like to recommend for you to do is to take your stencil, cut it. Now you have to remember, guys, there's always a grid on the back of it if you want to keep your line straight, and cut it so that you know that it fits. So imagining that these are the pieces that I'm trying to get on there. So I know that they fit, and I've got them spaced out. I can see the difference between the words of where I'm trying to put them. So that's how they're gonna go. So this is what you would do when you have more than one piece. You'll take this off. You'll work just with this one now that you know where it goes. You'll grab your contact paper. Now again, guys, don't panic if it's not exactly the same size. There's no problem there. It's just a stabilizer. It's just there to help you guys get the stencil on and off. So you're gonna grab your piece of contact paper. So you'll just peel it. Yours will be much bigger than this, but you'll get the idea from what I'm showing you. And you just put it over top. It doesn't have to be straight. There's no rhyme or reason, no magic to it. Okay, you'll be able to flip it and then peel it back. Pardon how messy my hands are. I have been painting with the recruits of my family for weeks now. So we'll just peel that off. So now you know where that you've got the space to go on it. So you're gonna measure this out again. So you'll put this piece down and you know that it goes there. Don't rub it down yet, and you'll just make sure, double check, get your other pieces in, make sure that they still fit and you're happy with that placement. Make sure that it's straight. Perfect. You're gonna rub this one down. So you'll give this one a good rub down. It doesn't have to be a lot of pressure. You'll peel your contact paper off of that one, like so. And then you'll go on to your next one. So you'll go and take your second one. You know that you've got this one on there. Again, it's not the same size. It's just sort of there. You'll cover most of it, but if it doesn't cover the whole thing, it's no problem. And then you'll put this on for the next one. These are not the right letters at all. If you could see what this actually was, you'd be laughing, because these are actually not the right letters at all. These are big, huge letters for a 6-footer, but we're improvising so that you guys can see this whole thing on the video the whole time. And so you'll know this one goes there before you rub it down. You'll take your second one, make sure you still got the placement for that, rub that one down, peel this off again. And guys, you'll know that you can use this contact paper over and over and over again for the same, I didn't rub this down, but for the same piece. So that's why we only give you guys 1 or 2 pieces of this. You don't need to have any more than that. So, and then you'll do your last one, do the same thing. This is going to come out anyway, but, and then you'll be able to peel that off, like so, and then measure that, make sure you get that where you want it to go, give that a rub down, and then peel that off. So then when you go to paint, you're all ready to go. Like this is a 6-foot board with all of your stencils on it. Then you'll grab your weeding tool, weed out the whole thing, and paint the whole thing. So that's one trick of the trade I wanted to show you guys for matching them up. Same thing goes for the big squares. Don't worry if it doesn't cover the whole thing. Just cover it. For the most part, it's just a stabilizer. It's not there for anything other than to be for transfer paper. So I'm going to show you guys a couple other tricks while we're doing this video. I haven't sanded this board yet. That's why the stencil wasn't sticking very well. I'm just using it. It's the only piece I have lying around here. So Second question I get is that there was a little bleed on my board. What do I do? You know, or how do I get that look that I want? Or it's a million different questions of once it's painted. So imagining that you've got one that's all painted and you're not happy with it, or it's bled, or there's something that you're kind of disappointed in. So I'm going to show you guys an example of that so that you can see what to do. Because sometimes they bleed, there's no question. So using this one as an example, because this one's actually getting sanded down, and say you've got a little tiny bleed somewhere that you're not happy with, this is when your sandpaper comes in, the little piece that we give you. So you've sanded to begin with. To get rid of it and not to have the scrape marks, you've got to make sure that you sand in the same direction of the grain of the wood again. So just like this, give it, I'm not putting any pressure on it at all, and just give it a light sand, okay? And the more pressure you put, the more it's going to come off a little bit there. So don't put too much pressure in one area. Then you can go back. What I would actually recommend, instead of doing it in just the one spot, and that's just to show you if there's a little bleed or something, I would do the whole thing. Because as soon as you sand the whole thing afterwards like this, it'll take care of any of those little marks or any of those things that you were trying to get rid of with a good sand at the end of it if you want to do that. So just to show you, the paint won't come off except for the spot I was trying to sand it off. So the other question we get is, can I use my pick? You can, but you have to be careful with it. So something like this, if it was just a little tiny mark, you could absolutely take your little pick without any pressure and just scrape the little bleeds off, and they'll come off like that too. So that's another option. It's something that we should talk about for this. And then if you have any other questions, we'll keep kind of just posting videos of what you guys are, just to troubleshoot. This is my array of working space, pardon the background. So you guys, as you know, you're gonna get your brushes in your kit. So you'll get brushes, you'll get paint, you'll be able to pick your paint choices. We're doing our best, so we will do our best to keep matching the colors so long as we can keep getting them out to you. And you'll get them in your little container. You'll typically have more than you need. Again, light paint all the time. That's what's gonna stop those bleeds for you guys. Yeah, and that's it. So please feel free to post on our page and brag all you want. Anybody who's doing a 3D sign, for example, somebody who's doing any 3D work or woodwork that you're gonna get in yours, here's a great little troubleshooting video for you too, because you're gonna get a little container of glue. And then this isn't a good example because it's actually a broken piece, but what you'll do is on the back of it, you'll put a little bit of glue and you'll put it down wherever you want to go. Now my advice would be, if you get a whole series of them, put them all down first, make sure they go where they want, and just sort of flip them and glue them down. The more pieces you get cut out of wood, the harder that's going to be just to keep it as straight as possible. So another really great rule of thumb is just take a ruler and then you just sort of put it along the bottom. I don't have one here, but and then have the letters just sit on top, and you'll be able to keep that nice and straight. So hopefully that'll help you guys out. Thank you again for the amazing support that we've had. You guys have been incredible. We are busy, and for anybody who knows me knows that's the way I'm happy. So check us out on our page, or check us out on Evolve Jewelry if you guys want to get some last minute stuff. We can still do Mother's Day stuff up until Wednesday before Mother's Day, and then after that we're gonna have to cut it off. We are having some trouble getting our hands on wood. So some of our orders are, 48, what we'd like to say 48 hours, and might be closer to a day or two more than that. So you'll still have them for Mother's Day, so Wednesday will be our cutoff. So thanks very much, guys. Have a good night. Happy crafting.